There was a time when Suge Knight was one of the most intimidating and powerful men in the hip-hop industry. As one of the co-founders of the notorious Death Row Records, Knight wielded his might to bully artists and competition into submission, while stirring up trouble with the East Coast and Bad Boy Records. His notoriety only rose to further heights when he survived the shootout that claimed Tupac Shakur's life in September 1996. In recent months, Keefe D's involvement in the murder has been brought into the spotlight, and Suge Knight's interview about it has been nothing short of disturbing. Suge Knight, behind bars. In a shocking turn of events, Suge Knight, the founder of Death Row Records, has made headlines by refusing to testify against Keefe D in the murder case of iconic rapper Tupac Shakur, despite being an eyewitness to the shooting that took place in Las Vegas in 1996. Suge Knight has chosen to remain silent, stating that he will never say a bad word about Keefe D. This unexpected decision has left authorities and the public puzzled, as Suge Knight's testimony could potentially shed light on the truth behind Tupac's tragic death. The larger-than-life figure behind Death Row Records was not only a witness to the shooting, but also a victim himself. From his prison cell, Suge recently spoke exclusively with TMZ, shedding light on the events that unfolded that tragic night, with the report dropping in early October 2023. In the interview, the rap mogul heavily insinuated that Keefe does not belong behind bars, while also revealing that Orlando "Baby Lane" Anderson wasn't the shooter either. This flew in the face of everything we have known for years, as Keefe D himself had claimed that his nephew Baby Lane had been the trigger man. Suge Knight's words sent shockwaves through the music industry and law enforcement agencies alike. Keefe D, the only living suspect in Tupac's murder, had long been believed to be heavily involved in the shooting, but Suge Knight's refusal to implicate him raises more questions than answers. His refusal to cooperate with authorities has left many wondering what he knows and why he has chosen to protect Keefe D. Is there more to this story than meets the eye? As we delve deeper into this perplexing case, we'll explore the shocking facts surrounding Tupac's murder and the implications of Suge Knight's silence. Before we get into those implications, I want to take a bit to really focus on what Keefe D has said about Tupac's murder over the years. He has said a lot. In multiple interviews and his memoir, Compton Street Legend, Keefe D has publicly admitted to being in the car that shot Tupac on that fateful night in 1996. While he denies pulling the trigger himself, Keefe D implicates his nephew, Orlando "Baby Lane" Anderson, as the shooter. Keefe D's allegations go even further, suggesting that hip-hop star Diddy, also known as Sean Combs, orchestrated and paid $1 million for the assassination. These claims have sparked controversy and reignited interest in the unsolved case. Keefe D's involvement in the murder of Tupac Shakur first came to light during his police confession in 2008. Seeking immunity in a PCP ring case, Keefe D decided to come forward and reveal his role in the shooting. His confession was later documented in the book Murder Rap by Greg Kading, a former detective on the case. It was in this interview that Keefe D revealed his nephew, Orlando "Baby Lane" Anderson, was the one who pulled the trigger on that fateful night. Keefe D revealed that they were both in the car that approached Tupac and Death Row Records head, Suge Knight, at a stoplight in Las Vegas. The weapon used in the shooting was a Glock .40, which Keefe D said was hidden in a secret compartment in the armrest of the car. But what motivated Keefe D and Baby Lane to target Tupac and Suge Knight? Keefe D's confession pointed the finger at none other than Sean "Diddy" Combs, a prominent figure in the music industry. According to Keefe D, Diddy ordered the hit, expressing his desire to get rid of them dudes. The animosity between Diddy and Knight allegedly stemmed from Knight's infamous diss to the Bad Boy executive at the 1995 Source Awards. The Death Row co-founder took to the stage and said, "Any artist out there that want to be an artist and stay a star and don't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the record, dancing, come to Death Row." Initially, Diddy only wanted Knight taken out, but after the release of Tupac's scathing diss track, Hit 'Em Up, which targeted both Diddy and the notorious B.I.G., his focus shifted to Tupac as well. Keefe recalled what Diddy allegedly said to him, "I need to speak to you, big dog. I have a couple of problems I need to be handled. Big CEO, Suge Knight, and Pop." He gave more insight into what happened on that night in the 2018 series, Death Row. Evident in their collaboration, they worked together on several tracks, with Lil Wayne featuring Thug on his mixtape, Sorry for 2 in 2015. This collaboration showcased the mutual respect and admiration they had for each other's artistry. Thug's star continued to rise. He looked up to Wayne as a role model and sought his guidance in navigating the complexities of the industry. Lil Wayne's influence on Young Thug's style and approach to music was undeniable, with often drawing inspiration from Lil Wayne's iconic clips and albums. However, Young Thug's career began, tensions started to simmer beneath the surface. It was during this tumultuous time Young Thug made a decision that would forever the course of their relationship. In an attempt to pay homage to Lil Wayne, Thug announced that his upcoming album would be titled The Carter. This move, however well-intentioned, fit well with Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne saw Young Thug's title as a direct and a disrespectful gesture. To Lil, the Carter series was his and Young Thug's to name his album. Carter 6 felt like a betrayal. The two of them began to escalate, and the mentor-student dynamic they once shared was shattered. The fallout from Young Thug's album title choice, the beginning of a feud that would captivate the music industry. Diss tracks, public call-outs, and even the dangerous incident involving his tour bus followed, leaving fans shocked and divided. We also can't ignore that Lil Wayne's battle with his record label Cash Money and its CEO Birdman set the stage for the clash of the two artists. Disputes over money and creative control led Lil Wayne to publicize his frustration and distance himself from the label. Young Thug chose to side with Birdman in the dispute. To understand how all this led to the shooting incident involving Birdman and Lil Wayne, we need to look into their tumultuous relationship. Brian Williams, alias Birdman, is the co-founder of Kenny Records, the label that launched Lil Wayne's career. For years, Birdman and Wayne had a close bond, with Birdman acting as a mentor and figure to the young rapper. In the world of hip-hop, there are few relationships as influential and complex as that of Birdman and Lil Wayne. Together, born in New York, and Biggie Smalls, hailing from Brooklyn, had a shared love for music and a mutual respect for each other's skills. Their friendship blossomed in the early 1990s as they navigated the competitive world of hip-hop together. Together, they represented the unity and camaraderie that hip-hop was built upon. But little did they know, their friendship would soon be tested in the most tragic and shocking way. It was the year 1994 when everything changed. Tupac, eager to work on his album Me Against the World and collaborate with East Coast artists, made a trip to New York City. He had plans to record tracks with two up-and-coming rappers, Booker and Lil Sean, at Quad Studios. Quad Studios, located on 7th Avenue near Times Square, was a renowned recording studio frequented by many artists. Tupac arrived at the studio, unaware of the events that would unfold and forever alter the course of hip-hop history. According to several police reports, Tupac was invited to the studio by a man named Ron G. The recording session seemed to be going smoothly, but as Tupac exited the building, tragedy struck. In the lobby of the famous studio, Tupac was ambushed and shot multiple times. The attackers, wearing gang-affiliated clothing from Brooklyn, stole his jewelry and left him wounded. Tupac survived the attack, but the incident left a deep scar on his soul. Tupac firmly believed that Biggie Smalls, his once close friend, had played a role in the ambush. He accused Biggie of betrayal and vowed to seek revenge. The bond that once held them together had shattered, replaced by a burning desire for retaliation, and so the seeds of the East Coast-West Coast rivalry were sown. What was once a friendship built on mutual respect and shared dreams had transformed into a bitter feud that would consume the hip-hop world. The story of Tupac and Biggie Smalls is a tragic tale of friendship lost and the devastating consequences that followed. Pretty much from the moment Death Row Records was born, Suge stamped his authority on the label. In addition to being a well-documented bully, the rap mogul populated Death Row with Bloods, and he made his association with the gang pretty evident by dressing in red and throwing up gang signs in public. This association just served to raise Suge's profile even higher. An investigator working in Compton had noted Suge's bodyguards were feared by everybody because people knew what they had done in the past. They weren't afraid to kill, and they let it be known. But Suge being Suge managed to piss off all those guys as well, with it being believed that Suge Knight has made a lot of enemies over the years. Some of the very people who worked for Suge have now turned against him. Suge Knight unwittingly played a huge role in the murder of Tupac Shakur, but when we look at some of his behavior, it is not all that surprising. On the night of the shooting, Keefe revealed Suge actually got clipped in the head when things first went down before stating he, Tupac, was trying to do a breakdance, trying to jump in the back seat or something. Looked like he was trying to jump up, but bullets was hitting his ass. It was Suge who brought the element of danger and violence into Death Row Records. Without the Bloods, odds are that there would be no chain snatching, no jumping Baby Lane in Vegas, and maybe, just maybe, no shootout. Why is Suge in jail? Suge Knight is going to spend the foreseeable future in prison for his involvement in one shocking incident. But the rap mogul has been involved in several run-ins with the law, and some might even argue that his extended prison sentence is the culmination of a life spent flouting the law. Born into a family grappling with the challenges of poverty and violence, Marion Hugh Knight Jr. faced an uphill battle from the very beginning. His childhood was marked by a constant struggle for survival. The family lived in a small, rundown apartment where they often had to go without basic necessities. Suge Knight witnessed firsthand the impact of poverty on his family and the community around him. It was during these early years that he developed a deep sense of determination and resilience that would later define his character. Growing up, Suge was mainly focused on building a career as an NFL player, but when he realized his future in that sport wouldn't be the brightest, he pivoted to focusing on concert promotions and working as a bodyguard. Suge Knight's love for music eventually led him to pursue a career in the industry. He started by working as a bodyguard for various artists, including Bobby Brown and The Doc. This allowed him to gain valuable connections and insights into the inner workings of the music world. He quickly worked his way to the top of the business by bullying and intimidating artists and managers, with the most notable rumors being that he hung Vanilla Ice off a balcony to get aid. To believe that the two rappers had put out a hit on Lil But this is not the first time rappers have put a hit on each other. The hip-hop world cannot the sad fate of the adored rappers from Chicago, King Von and G Duck. New FBI documents revealed a shocking truth about beef. Authorities revealed that King Von had put a 100,000 bounty on G Duck's head. So how did the authority cover such shocking details? On October 13th, 2020, the feds raided O-Block and arrested Duck's murder. These were Liggins, aka C Murda, Kenneth Robertson, aka Kenny Mack, Tacarlo, aka Loss, Christopher Thomas, aka C Thang, and Marcus Smart, aka Muwa. The five were charged with murder, unlawful use of firearms, racketeering, assault with dangerous weapons. The charges carried a mandatory of life upon conviction. There was even talk of the prosecution seeking the death penalty. So how were the O-Block members caught? According to authorities, did not have a lot of old school investigation. One tool proved to be very helpful, and that is social media. The thugs could not shy in bragging about their crime on the internet. All the cops had to do was keep a full eye on the social media pages of O-Block gang, and the murder would be solved. Most of the gangmen on Instagram Live. They were overjoyed at getting back at the op who had single-handedly embarrassed them in his diss tracks. However, two particular incidents that helped the feds blow the case. The first one was help from an informant. Someone snitched on the group. The fed revealed that according to their informant, someone had put a $50,000 bounty on Duck's head. However, no one was with it. The informant further revealed that the same individual upped his offer to $100. Some O-Block was willing to part ways with $100,000 in exchange for someone's death. Who wanted Duck dead so bad? And more importantly, what had the GD rapper done to have such a heavy price put on his head? Although the informant did not reveal the individual's name, they told the cops that person had rewarded the killers with custom-made O-Block. Things were starting to fall into place. A video had earlier surfaced on with none other than Von giving O-Block members custom maidens. Apart from influence over the careers of artists signed to the label, his beef with Dre highlights the potential abuse of power and the lengths some individuals may go to maintain control and protect their interests. The allegations made by Knight also raise questions about the safety and security of artists in the industry. The claims of a murder-for-hire situation and attempts on Knight's life paint a disturbing picture of the lengths some may go to silence those who pose a threat or challenge the status quo. Furthermore, the beef between Knight and Dre exposes the financial complexities within the music business. The accusations of a life management deal and Knight's entitlement to a significant portion of Dre's earnings highlight the intricate web of contracts, royalties, and financial agreements that can often lead to disputes and legal battles. The response from Dre's camp also raises concerns about the credibility and accountability of artists and executives. While Dre's lawyer vehemently denies the allegations, it leaves us questioning the truth and transparency within the industry. How much can we trust the public image of our favorite artists and the narratives they present? Ultimately, the beef between Suge Knight and Dr. Dre serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the darker side of the music industry. It highlights the potential for abuse of power, the complexities of financial agreements, and the challenges faced by artists in a cutthroat business. Suge's issues with Snoop Dogg also hit a lot of similar beats. Snoop Dogg, a protege of Dr. Dre, had a close working relationship with the renowned producer. While Dre focused on the creative side, Suge Knight handled the business aspects of the label, ensuring its dominance in the industry. Snoop's association with Death Row provided him with a platform to share his stories as a Rollin' 20s Long Beach Crip, captivating audiences with his unique style and laid-back flow. However, as time went on, Snoop's perspective began to shift. Snoop grew tired of the violent content associated with Death Row and yearned to bring a more positive side to his music. He wanted to use his platform to uplift and inspire rather than perpetuate negativity. This change of heart had a lot to do with his murder trial, where he was thankfully acquitted of all charges. After the release of his album Dogfather, Snoop made the bold decision to part ways with Death Row Records. This marked a significant turning point in his career and set the stage for the brewing conflict between him and Suge Knight. Snoop found a new home at Master P's No Limit Records, where he continued to make waves in the industry. But despite their past collaborations and success together, Snoop's resentment towards Suge Knight's ownership philosophies began to intensify. The fundamental difference in values and artistic direction laid the foundation for the explosive feud between both men. The tensions between Snoop Dogg and Suge Knight would soon reach a boiling point, captivating the attention of fans and media alike. As tensions between Snoop and Suge escalated, Snoop took to the mic to express his frustrations. He released a scathing diss track titled Pimp Slap, directly aimed aimed at Suge Knight. The track became an anthem for those who felt disillusioned with Death Row's violent image and all the harm Suge had done to the label. The diss track ignited a firestorm of controversy, with fans and media eagerly awaiting Suge Knight's response. The feud between these two hip-hop heavyweights had reached a fever pitch. The tension between Snoop and Suge came to a head at the 2002 Vibe Awards. Both artists were in attendance, and the atmosphere was electric. It seemed like a physical altercation was imminent, but Steve Harvey, of all people, was on hand to keep the peace. The media frenzy surrounding the beef only intensified, with rumors and speculation running rampant. Tabloids and gossip columns dissected every move and statement made by both artists, adding fuel to the already blazing fire. But just when it seemed like the feud would never end, a surprising turn of events took place. Snoop and Suge were able to put their differences aside and reconcile their once rocky relationship. The exact date is unclear, but Snoop has been speaking positively about the Death Row co-founder since around 2013. They had a heartfelt face-to-face conversation where they expressed their respect for each other and forgave past transgression. It was a moment of redemption and growth, showcasing the power of forgiveness in the world of hip-hop. Snoop even dedicated a track to Suge, titled Bygones Be Bygones, as a testament to their newfound harmony. This unexpected reconciliation surprised fans and industry insiders alike, proving that even the most bitter feuds can be resolved. Suge may have made up with Snoop Dogg, but it was too little too late. Years of bad decisions and stints in prison had left Death Row a shell of its former self. Suge had lost whatever little respect he had in the industry, and being sentenced to prison for 28 years means that his problematic legacy is pretty much set in stone. It was in January 2015 when Knight found himself embroiled in a heated altercation with a longtime rival, CLE Bone Sloan. The tension between the two escalated to a shocking level as Knight, sitting in his pickup truck, engaged in a heated argument with Sloan through the window. In a moment that would forever change the lives of those involved, Knight made a fateful decision. He struck Sloan with his truck, causing him injuries. But the tragedy didn't end there. In a horrifying turn of events, Knight proceeded to drive his truck forward, tragically running over businessman Terry Carter, who was also present at the scene. Knight's defense team argued that he was acting in self-defense, claiming that he feared for his life during the altercation. However, the prosecution presented a different narrative, painting Knight as the aggressor in this deadly confrontation. Despite the defense's claims, Knight ultimately pleaded no contest to voluntary manslaughter, avoiding a trial on more severe charges of murder and attempted murder. The courtroom drama surrounding Knight's case was intense, with his numerous defense lawyers fighting tooth and nail to prove his innocence. But in the end, the evidence and testimonies presented were enough to sway Knight's decision to enter a plea. The courtroom was filled with tension as members of Terry Carter's family addressed the court, describing him as a deeply devoted husband, father, grandfather, and friend. And so fell Suge Knight, from a rap mogul to a broken man. Prison has not been kind to Suge Knight in the slightest. I'll get into some of the bigger issues he's been having in just a second, but first I want to talk about his health problem. Back in 2016, the rap mogul had to undergo emergency surgery and cut a sad, broken figure in a court appearance shortly after. While addressing the judge, he said, "I was in real pain for like 3 weeks. They finally took me over to the clinic because I told the sergeant I can't stand up or move. My appendix was busted." In the years since, Snoop Dogg has bought Death Row Records, stripping away Suge's last real link to the hip-hop industry. Reports coming out over the years have revealed that the rap mogul has kept an extremely low profile behind bars. This is mainly because he has managed to piss off members from essentially every gang. These reports were substantiated by a Bloods gang leader who said, "Talking about Suge like that, I'd like to show you that dudes be on these streets allocating this tough man facade. You really be in the pit with the homies, you know what I'm saying?" Suge has cut an increasingly isolated figure behind bars, which was confirmed by a lawyer who visited the prison when the rap mogul was meeting with his own attorney. The lawyer said, even to this day, people are still mad at him. That's why he couldn't even walk on. He couldn't even walk a prison yard. You know, he cannot walk a general population prison yard because there's so many people that dislike him, so he's not even in general population right now in the prison yard. I believe in at least Donovan, Richard J. Donovan Correctional Facility. He's in a protective wing of the prison. Despite his long-standing association with the Bloods, Suge has even avoided the Bloods behind bars, mainly because he managed to piss most of them off when he was on the outside. His decision to not help law enforcement take down Keefe D might seem surprising on the surface, but it isn't really. Say what you will about the man, but Suge usually respects the code of the street, and also, we can't forget the fact that he was friends with Keefe for a long time. And if Suge doesn't talk, law enforcement might not really have much on the man. Keefe D and Suge Knight are the only men who know what happened that night. Beyond what Keefe has said in interviews, there is no actual evidence that could land him up behind bars. But all of this begs the question, has prison really softened the once terrifying co-founder of Death Row Records? Sure, he doesn't want his friend to go to prison, but by keeping his mouth shut, don't forget that he is letting go of a golden opportunity to really really screw with P. Diddy, one of his oldest rivals. A lot of what Keefe has said over the years clearly indicates Diddy's involvement in Tupac's death, and if Suge were to back things up, that would shine a much brighter spotlight on the Bad Boy Records founder. So far, Diddy has skillfully dodged any questions sent his way regarding the murder. In an interview back in October 2023, he said, "We don't talk about things that are nonsense. We don't entertain nonsense. With all due respect, but I appreciate you as a journalist asking. Thank you." It is pretty crazy if you think about it. Keefe D started coming clean about everything that had happened that night because he had nothing to lose. But skip forward a little bit, and he is the one behind bars. Diddy isn't any closer to actually paying for his alleged involvement in murder, and Suge Knight is cutting interviews from prison that just come across more disturbing than anything else. That's mainly because everything he has said has gone against the Suge people have come to know over the last few decades, leaving everyone with the shadow of a once mighty man. Only time will tell if Tupac will get belated justice for his murder, or will his killer and everyone involved go unpunished, despite everything we know about that night. And that's our video. If you liked what you saw, check one of these out too. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.